The typing bubble. It was raining the night they met. Not the loud kind of rain that demanded attention, just a quiet, steady drizzle against the window, soft enough to make the whole world feel slower. The city outside blurred into reflections of streetlights and wet pavement, while inside, his room glowed faintly from the laptop screen and the lamp on his desk. It was past midnight, the kind of hour when people either sleep peacefully or end up on strange corners of the internet, looking for something they can't quite name. Tonight, he was the second kind. Omegle loaded slowly, the familiar white screen appearing like an old habit he wasn't proud of. He wasn't looking for anything serious, just distraction, noise, something to make the silence feel less loud. He clicked. You're now chatting with a random stranger. Hi. Skip. M or F? Skip. A blurry camera, someone laughing, disconnect. He rubbed his eyes. Maybe tonight was a mistake. One more. The next screen opened to text only. A pause. Then, do you think people meet by accident or by timing? He blinked. That was different. He smiled despite himself and typed back. Starting strong, huh? 3 dots. It's late. I'm skipping small talk. He laughed quietly. Fair enough. I think timing. Accidents are just timing we don't understand yet. There was a pause, longer than usual. Then, that's actually a really good answer. He leaned back. Already, this felt less like passing time and more like stepping into something. Your turn, he typed. What do you think? The typing bubble appeared. Disappeared. Returned. I think people cross paths for a reason, even strangers, even online. Something about the way she wrote made him read slower. Like each sentence mattered. They introduced themselves only by first names, or maybe not even real ones. It didn't seem important yet. What mattered was the strange ease of the conversation, the way it moved like it had already been happening before they arrived. She told him she liked storms because they made the world feel honest. He told her he liked late-night drives because roads felt different when no one was watching. She asked what his comfort movie was. He asked what songs she listened to when life felt too heavy. And somehow, without trying, they kept staying. Usually Omegle was made of exits, quick ones, easy ones. But tonight, neither of them left. Hours passed unnoticed. At one point she wrote, "Isn't it weird how easy this is?" He stared at the sentence for a moment before answering. Yeah, weird in a good way. Another pause. Then, like talking to someone I've known before. His chest tightened a little at that, because he had been thinking the exact same thing. I was just going to say that. The rain outside had slowed. The room felt quieter somehow. He checked the time. 2:47 a.m. He should have been tired. Instead, he felt more awake than he had all week. They moved into deeper things. The kind of things people don't usually say to strangers. She told him she was scared of being forgettable. Not invisible, forgettable. Like people would love her in passing, but never stay. He told her he was afraid of being understood too late. Of spending years pretending to be easy to know while hoping someone would notice the harder parts. She replied, maybe the right person notices without being asked. He sat still after reading that. Then typed, maybe they're typing to me right now. The silence after that felt louder than anything they'd said. Long enough that he wondered if he'd ruined it. Then, that was dangerously smooth. He laughed out loud. I panicked halfway through sending it. Good, you should. A beat. Then, but I liked it. He smiled so suddenly, it felt ridiculous. He was smiling at a laptop screen, at words. And somehow it mattered. Eventually, the question came, the one both of them had been circling. Can I ask you something? She typed. Always. Pause. What if we talk tomorrow too? He didn't even think. Then tomorrow becomes my favorite part of today. This time, her reply took longer. When it came, it was simple. Okay, then tomorrow. They exchanged social media after that, not rushed, not careless, like handing someone a key and hoping they knew what it opened. Before logging off, she sent one last message. I'm glad I didn't skip you. He looked at the blinking cursor for a long moment, then wrote, Me too. I think I would have missed something important. Tomorrow came. Then the next day. Then the next. They became routine. Morning messages. Late night calls. Photos of coffee cups. Sunsets, unfinished thoughts. She sent voice notes when she was too tired to type. He replayed them more than he admitted. He learned the sound of her laugh before he learned the way she looked when she laughed. She learned when he was overthinking, just by the way he texted, I'm fine. Distance became strange. They were far apart in miles, but somehow present in all the small spaces of each other's lives. Did you eat? Send me a picture of the sky there. Stay on call until I fall asleep. Weeks turned into months. Feelings arrived quietly. Not dramatic. Not announced. Just there. In the way he checked his phone first thing. In the way she smiled at his name. In the way silence with him felt safe. One night, on a call that lasted until sunrise, she said softly, Do you ever think about meeting? He was quiet. Because yes. Too much. All the time, he admitted. And I'm scared, he said honestly. Why? He stared at the ceiling. Because right now, you're my favorite part of every day, and if real life changes that. She interrupted him gently. What if real life is better? Silence. Then he asked the question that had been living in him for weeks. Would you want it to be? Her voice was quiet. Yes. Just that. Yes. They chose a bookstore cafe, halfway between their cities. Neutral ground. A Saturday afternoon. He arrived 20 minutes early and pretended not to be nervous. He failed. Every person who walked in made his heart stutter. Not them. Not yet. Then, the bell above the door rang. He looked up, and there she was, standing in the doorway, scanning the room with that same hesitant confidence he'd imagined 100 times. She looked real. Not like a screen, not like a voice. Real. Warm. Beautiful in the ordinary way that mattered most. Her eyes found his. And instantly, she smiled. Not polite. Not uncertain. Recognition. He stood so fast, he almost knocked over his chair. She laughed, the same laugh, the one he knew. And somehow, that made everything easier. He walked toward her. She met him halfway. For 1 second, they just stood there, both smiling like idiots. Hi, she said. Hearing her voice without headphones felt unreal. Hi, he replied. You're taller than I expected. You're meaner than I expected. She laughed again. Good, that means it's really me. And then, like it was the most natural thing in the world, she stepped forward and hugged him. Warm. Immediate. Certain. He held her like someone returning to a place they hadn't known they missed. And quietly, against his shoulder, she whispered, See, better. He smiled into her hair. Yeah, he said. Definitely better. And somewhere, in the strange history of the internet, among 1,000 forgotten chats and skipped strangers, 2 people who should have been temporary became something lasting. All because one night, instead of saying hello, she asked about timing.